What you doing, Otaku readers? I'm the AC, and I'm going to talk about Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Volume 5, with story by Hiro Mashimo and art by Suo Ueda. Yeah, the English translation of this volume came out in October. I've been really looking forward to reading it, and it's a really good volume, actually. It continues on with Diabolus and the White Mage wanting to destroy the orbs on Alderaan to release his power so they can use it for themselves. But throughout this volume, there are kind of some random surprises, some that could be significant to the story, some that could be significant to the story and just not really make sense, and then some just that do not make sense. There's a whole spectrum of them, but besides that, there's also some cool fighting, and then just one pretty big climactic fight between some guild members, because of course a lot of them are still under the control of the White Mage. But yeah, no, a lot of great stuff is in this volume. I'm really excited to see where it keeps going. But let me actually go through all the stuff each of the characters are doing. So, the main group is still separated, and it starts off with Natsu still being dead. We see his spirit being taken out and about consumed. But this sends Natsu to a kind of beta heaven, is what they call it, where he sees Zeref, Mavis, and then children version of August and Larcade, as well as Ignale, and pretty much anyone else who dies. They're in this kind of subconscious place of Natsu's that he's kind of equating with being dead or the afterlife, stuff like that. So after a little talking through that, Natsu's figured out how to come back and fight as a thought projection. It's kind of cool, kind of silly. I mean, it's definitely Fairy Tail style, and he's finally able to fight back. Now, this of course leads the Spirit Dragon Slayer to possess both Happy, which Natsu knocks out. Whole joke about pet abuse and all that, but Happy's not a pet. He's a friend and partner of Natsu's, so he's going to knock him out of there. Next, he also possesses Makarov, and there's this big, really significant synchronization he has with Makarov, and he's not able to really figure out why it is. It's like, is it because he's family? I mean, he's lost all his memories ever since he became the spirit, and we finally get to learn more about his past. Now, you may notice I haven't been using a name because for some reason there was some mix-up, apparently. In the 4th volume, the Spirit Dragon Slayer's name was Race, and this, his name is Wraith. And apparently, from what I could see, there was some kind of name translation mix-up, some kind of whatever happened. But also in this volume, up until the flashback, it never says his name. That's why I didn't say his name. So, what I'm thinking is, since Wraith lost his memories, he could have just been going by Race. And then once he got his memory back, once he sees the flashback, he learned that his actual name was Wraith. So, what happened in the flashback is, apparently Wraith was in the same guild as Makarov, and he died. For some reason, got killed, and Makarov made a big emotional deal about him dying, even though Wraith didn't really feel like Makarov even knew who he was, but they're in the same guild. They have a bond thicker than blood, and so that's why there's this synchronization. And then, once Wraith realizes that, he can be at peace and he passes on, and that's kind of the end of that fight. Anticlimactic in a combat sense, but on a more emotional story sense. It's kind of nice. It's a nice ending for what could have been a devastatingly strong enemy. But yeah, so that's where that ends with Natsu and Wraith. Now we can move on to Wendy. Wendy's adorable in this. Wendy is Cuckoo, the cocoon dragon, as Nabaru calls her. They're still fighting, kind of. You can call it fighting. This is more of a silly part of the volume. She's kind of just rolling around, more just dodging all that stuff. But Nabaru's able to destroy another orb, and then kind of flees, and then Wendy gives chase as best she can as a cocoon. But yeah, this was just more of a silly, but a serious implications. I don't know, like something bad happened, but they did it in a silly way. Also, just Wendy as a cocoon. Adorable. But that's pretty much it for it. Now we move on to Lucy. Lucy runs into Grand Juvia. She's looking for Kana, and who has also found Grand Juvia. Kana is, of course, as her character, really drunk. Turns out she was so drunk that the White Mage didn't even have any influence on her. She was just so drunk that she didn't even know what she was doing and tagging along with everyone, apparently. But yeah, White Mage had no influence over her. And she was about to attack Grand Juvia for whatever reason. But no, that's a kind of funny idea. I was actually thinking about it before I even started reading. I was like, what would happen if someone was so drunk? Would they even be able to like have their mind manipulated? And then it happened in this volume. I was like, wow, great coincidence. But yeah, the whole reason Lucy was looking for Kana is because she was wanting to use her cards to try to pull the people back in it, way back in like, who are they fighting? Tartarus arc when Kana did that. She tries it, ends up getting locked in herself. Kana tells her, yeah, there's a little secret to it. First, though, they have to knock out the people. So, the whole card idea, it can work, but they still have to knock them out first. So it's not like it's making things any easier. They can just scoop up the people they have already been beaten. So I guess that's something. Alright. Now, here's the actual coolest part of the whole volume. Is Erza versus Jalal and Luxus. Well, kind of. Erza easily ties up Jalal. Okay, no problem with that. And then Luxus is actually fighting Kyria, who he actually beats really easily. And it's cool to just show how overwhelming Luxus actually can be. I mean, we see how strong he is and how much he can do in past arcs, but this is one of the, I guess, the only time we get to see Erza and Luxus actually really fight, and it's really cool. And they show each other new things that they haven't seen before. Luxus has his Red Lightning Dragon mode, and then Erza has her two swords, the Fire Dragon's Flames and the Ice Demon's Chill. Awesome fight. One of the coolest I think I've seen. Yeah, the coolest so far of the 100 Years Quest. But they fight to a tie and eventually knock him out. I'll say fight to a tie. Erza falls like a minute before Luxus does, but they both knock each other out, which leads to Kyria getting back up and destroying another orb. So that is 3 down, 2 to go. I guess we'll probably see where that goes in the next volume, but that's not it. Jumping back to Natsu for the end of the volume. He and Happy found Toka. Whole ridiculous misunderstanding with her. Of course, at this point, she's not being possessed, or not. The White Mage isn't in control of her, so she's able to give a funny little story of how Natsu and Happy saved her. And the misunderstanding is so dumb. She thought Happy saved her and was riding Natsu, even though it was the other way around. Happy was carrying Natsu, and then when she was asking for a name, Happy thought she was asking about Natsu, so he said Natsu in his place, so she ended up thinking Happy was Natsu, and just a whole weird misunderstanding until the next and most random part of the volume. Toku is actually an Exceed. Yeah, she's a cat for some reason, which makes sense when you think about why she think Happy would be the one to save her, because, also an Exceed. But yeah, it's just random. Maybe it plays an important part later in the series, but yeah, it was just kind of a random thing. I don't know, maybe it's kind of like trying to tie in stories, just like with Wraith, Noah, and Makarov, just like these random things that could be important, but also they may just be there to be silly. Who knows? But after the third orb is destroyed, then the White Mage is able to take over Toka again. So she reverts back out of her cat form back into her human form, because apparently the White Mage doesn't like cats. I don't know why, but yeah. And then that's where it ends. Kind of with a cliffhanger. Kind of with Natsu and the White Mage are about to face off against each other. Seems too early for that to actually happen, but something's going to happen. And we'll finally get to see what that is in the next volume. But like I said, I really enjoyed this volume. There's a lot going on. It's kind of just some crazy and fun stuff, some really cool serious stuff, just a nice mix of everything. But have you read this volume yet? Are you keeping up with Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest? It's really good sequel series to Fairy Tail, so you should if you love Fairy Tail as much as I did. But yeah, let me know what you thought. And if you like what I have to say, go and like the video. You want to see me talk more about other manga and other stuff I'm reading, go and subscribe to my channel. You can see when I do all that. But until next time, I'm the AC. Thank you for watching, and bye.